the Rodgers conversation isn't the only one that needs to be had around this team. It's another playoff loss for Mike Tomlin. It's another time where this team isn't advancing beyond their first playoff game. I think they said he's gone 9 years now without a playoff win, which is the longest the Steelers coach has ever gone without winning in the postseason. And I understand, like, there are some tactical decisions that he will make that people will disagree with. And this team has not been able to get over the hump. And there have been times where maybe they should have. But that being said, I don't know who's winning with this group, right? Like, you look at it, like, you have Aaron Rodgers, the 42-year-old guy who's back there, who's also the best quarterback this team has had in half a decade or so. Like, I get, like, Ben Roethlisberger in his prime was pretty good. Again, not a great dude, but a pretty good quarterback. But the last couple of years of Ben Roethlisberger were awful. Couldn't throw the ball downfield. Like, not wouldn't, could not. Couldn't, like, when he couldn't make his arm do this throwing motion and have the ball travel more than 15 yards. Like, that is just not a thing that science would allow in whatever years he was playing. And then after that, it's Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, an ancient Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure there are some other ones who are thrown in there as well. Like, there hasn't really been that guy to come in and lead the charge. So yeah, like, losing all those playoff games, it's frustrating. And at some point, you kind of have to change the messaging there. I would suggest that roster construction has not been a strength of this team. I think the roster has gotten worse and worse over the past couple of seasons. Like, TJ Watt went down with an injury a couple of years ago, and they couldn't do a thing on defense. Like, this defense is like 3 players away from being the Raiders. That's exaggerating a little bit. Like, there are some talented pieces on this team, but offensively there ain't. Like, DK Metcalf, cool. Like, I like Warren. I like Gainwell, but those shouldn't be the key cogs of everything that's happening on offense. Like, I view what's happening with the Steelers significantly more as a roster construction problem than a coaching issue. Now, there's also, like, Tomlin, I'm sure, has more than a little bit of a say in those conversations. But this feels like a Steelers team that would have benefited from being bad once. You know, if they could have just been bad 1 year, get that quarterback, and then do the rest of the winning thing, if they could have had their Spurs blip to get their Tim Duncan and then just gone back on their way, excellent. Instead of, well, you know, Kenny Pickett, maybe. Who knows, right? But, like, they had an opportunity at Jackson Dart. Didn't do it. That they've had opportunities at guys in the past and didn't really roll with it. So if this is the last game of the Mike Tomlin era, you're not going to get a ton of argument from me. I can at least see why they would. I just don't think they should. Or I don't think you should do that and then assume all of your problems are solved. But you look at now the Steelers, and we'll do an off-season preview with them a little bit later on this week on Couch Potato and here on the streams on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. But this is... I think this is a pretty big project, actually, to build this Steelers team back up. We are assuming you're going to need another quarterback here. I would suggest another playmaker on the offensive side would be rather beneficial to whoever that quarterback is that is coming in. And still, there are some pieces that need to be brought in on the defensive side. I think the offensive line was fine. But this isn't just, okay, new coach, here we go, let's roll. It'd be funny if it was Harbaugh. That'd be really funny. But there are bigger things at play here for the Steelers. Because, like, this game was close for a long time, scoreboard-wise. This game, just watching it, this game didn't look close for a second. There was... The main thought for me while the game was going on wasn't, oh, this is a close football game at 7-6 going to the fourth quarter. The thought was, you're kidding me. Rodgers is going to get it again. They're going to sneak up and keep it close and end up winning a game. Swig of water for the working man. They're going to keep it close. They're going to get a ridiculous bounce. There it is. It's Stroud throwing the ball right to a guy. Or, for some reason, the quarterback who didn't fumble a ball all year now can't hold on to the thing, and the Steelers are going to win this game. A game they didn't deserve to win. Like, they feel like they are pretty far away. They feel like they won this division this year because the Ravens got hurt. And it felt like they got lucky in a lot of their wins. Like, this is, when you look at where the Steelers are and the distance between themselves and competing, even in a year where we feel like there's a lot of parity and not really that one dominant team in the AFC, it still feels like they're a ways away from really seriously competing in this conference, right? Like, I know the Chargers weren't great shakes on Sunday night. We'll get to them in a second, but I think the Chargers are in a better spot, and every other team in the AFC, I think, curb stomps this team, much like the Texans were able to do. So I think the Steelers are a ways away from being a competitive football team, a truly championship caliber competitive football team. But am I off? Let me know. Whether you're watching live, let me know in the chat, or after the fact, hit me up in the comments and we can chat about it there, because I feel like they're a ways away. But the Texans move on, and they will now take on the New England Patriots in the second round, in the divisional round, in the AFC. We have xdrew9999 on YouTube. Get Arthur Smith out of there. That is, yes, yeah, 100%. Xdrew, look, I've never been a big Arthur Smith guy. All the stuff in Atlanta with, we're just not going to do anything because fantasy football players tell us to. Like, there's just an unearned level of arrogance from this guy. And it feels like teams kind of figured him out 6 years ago, and he hasn't figured that out yet. But I was saying, Drew, I don't know if you were paying attention, or not paying attention, but I don't know if you were around here yet. But I'm not big on the fire Tomlin thing. I feel like there's a lot of different things that could be improved around Tomlin, and it's not necessarily all his fault. Offensive play caller, that is 100% one of them. Like, they were talking all night about how this team, that they're just not giving them anything underneath. The second there's anything underneath, they're just absolutely getting smothered and getting absolutely crushed in all of these different ways. And it's like, did you guys once think, not even double move, just like move and a half, right? Like, it doesn't even have to be the like backyard football thing where you run, you do a curl route, and you just stop and put your hands up, and then you spin around. It doesn't even have to be that exaggerated. It can just be like a run and a and then keep going. It was like, that was a foreign concept to them at all. When you talk about every other offense throughout the week, and talking about how great they were at scheming guys open in different areas and working off of different tendencies, Pittsburgh had nothing for any of that. And you know what the Texans are. It's not like they just showed up here on Monday and was like, oh my God, they got a defense now. They've been this all year. They're going to rush with 4, and they're going to tackle the fuck out of you with their defensive backs. That's how they're going to manage all of this. And so you knew that was going to be a thing. And so you have to be able to design something to try to counter that. I get it's like easier said than done, but again, Don Draper meme, that's what the money's for. There was no adjustment from any of it. And that's been Arthur Smith for a gosh darn decade, that there's just no adjustment from anything that he is doing. It's like, nope. I had success. I had a really good Madden franchise with this once, and so we're not budging off this thing now. Like, there was nothing. There was no adjustment from him at all.